Hola y bienvenido a Learn Spanish on SpanishDicts.com. I'm Paralee Whitmire, your teacher. Today you'll be learning how to conjugate regular ER verbs with some more food vocabulary like como una fresa, bebes leche, y mucho más. ¡Vámonos! Vale, in the last lesson, you learned a lot of food vocabulary and articles, how to say a, an, and the. You've also learned how to say I am, estoy, and soy, you are, está or es, and I want, quiero. But there are thousands of verbs out there, and you need to learn how to use all of them. In Spanish, there are 3 different types of verbs. Verbs that end in AR, ER, or IR. A verb that ends in AR, ER, or IR is in its infinitive form, the most basic verb form, and it's the one that you'll find when you look up a word in the dictionary. Verbs that end in AR, ER, or IR, or infinitives, always mean to something, like cocinar means to cook, comer means to eat, and compartir means to share. Each verb type has a different set of endings that go along with them when you conjugate them. When you conjugate a verb, you're changing it depending on the subject, who is doing the action. Let's just start with an ER verb like comer for today. I'll give you the pronoun, the correct conjugation, and a new food vocabulary word. But remember, in regular speech, you don't use the pronouns unless the subject is ambiguous. I'll give it to you both ways so that you can see. Yo como una fresa. Como una fresa. There are 2 ways to address someone directly in Spanish, formally and informally. You've heard me talk about this before. Tú and usted. First, let's look at tú. You would use this to address friends, close family members, or people that are younger than you. Tú comes una fresa. Comes una fresa. Now, if you would like to show respect to someone when you're speaking to them, you can use the usted form. This is what you've been using so far. You use this form when you're speaking to someone who is your teacher, someone who is older than you, your grandparents, or anyone you would like to show respect. For the usted form, you would say, usted come una fresa. Come una fresa. Ella come una fresa. Come una fresa. Él come una manzana. Come una manzana. Did you notice that usted, él, and ella all have the exact same endings for the verb? This is when you would use the pronoun usted, él, or ella, because with just the verb come, the subject is ambiguous and you don't know who's doing the action. Let's keep moving. Nosotros comemos manzanas. Comemos manzanas. If you're speaking directly to a group of friends in Spain, you can use the vosotros form. Vosotros coméis manzanas. Coméis manzanas. Everywhere else in the world, you'll just use ustedes to speak to any group of people directly. Ustedes comen pizza. Comen pizza. Ellos comen manzanas. Comen manzanas. Now, if you're talking about a group that is all women, you'll use the feminine form of they. Ellas. Ellas comen pizza. Comen pizza. But even if there's one man in the group, you'll use the masculine form. Ellos. Did you notice that the endings changed on comer depending on who was doing the eating? This is called conjugating, and it works for any ER verb, not just comer. Let's take a look at all of the conjugations together so that we can figure out how this happens. What do all of these forms have in common? If you look, they all have the same stem or root. You can find the stem of a verb by taking off the last two letters of the infinitive. What is the stem for our infinitive comer? C-O-M. You're going to have this stem in every single conjugation that we have. Now, if we look back at our list of conjugations and we take away the stem C-O-M, we have the endings for every regular ER verb in the dictionary. For yo, you're going to have O. For tú, you'll add ES. For él, ella, and usted, you'll add the letter E. For nosotros and nosotras, if it's all women, you'll add EMOS. For vosotros or vosotras, you'll add E with an accent, IS. And for ellos, ellas, and ustedes, you'll add EN. Let's take a look at all of our final conjugations of comer, starting from the beginning. If you just have the infinitive, comer, find the stem by taking off the last two letters. So you're left with C-O-M. You'll use this stem for all 6 conjugations, so we can go ahead and write it 6 times. Now, all we have to do is add the endings. O, es, e, hemos, eis, en. That leaves us with como, I eat. Comes, you eat. Come, you eat or he or she eats. Comemos, we eat. Coméis, you plural eat. Comen, you plural eat or they eat. And remember, this works with all regular ER verbs. Now I can ask you what you eat. I will use the tú form, comes, to ask you if you eat a certain food item. If you do, then you can respond by using the yo form, como, and then whatever food I just mentioned. For example, I will ask you if you eat strawberries. ¿Comes fresas? And you can respond by saying, sí, como fresas, if you do eat strawberries. And if you don't like strawberries, then you can say, no, no como fresas. ¿Listo? ¿Comes uvas? ¿Comes pizza? ¿Comes sandía? Remember, when you're asking someone a question directly, you'll need to use the tú form, comes, or the usted form, come. And to respond, you'll always use the yo form since you're talking about yourself. Now, let's try something a little bit harder. I'm going to give you a phrase in English. See if you can translate it for me into Spanish. I'll help you out, don't worry. Remember, if sandía means watermelon, how would you say, they eat watermelon? Comen sandía. Remember, you don't need to use the pronoun, so it's just comen sandía. And if naranja is the word for orange, how would you say, she eats an orange? Come una naranja. Don't forget your indefinite articles, un and una. Come una naranja. ¡Qué bien! Es todo para hoy. You can practice everything you learned here at SpanishDict.com/learn. There you'll find all the picture flashcards from this lesson, as well as games, the writing and speaking activities. If you enroll in the course, we'll keep track of your points for you and you can compare yourself with others on the leaders board. If you have any questions about how to conjugate regular or even irregular ER verbs, when to use an accent, any more food vocabulary, or anything else you can imagine, check out SpanishDict.com/reference. Until next time, hasta luego y adios!